time I will push with my palms.
That one over there.
Okay, if I hold still, the clay will start to straighten up. If I take my hands and I have my elbows not on my legs and I'm like this, I'm not going to be able to sit in the clay. I have to keep my elbows down on my legs, one hand on the side, one hand on the top, press in and down, and I'm pressing with my palms right through here and through here to get this clay centered. Any clay starts to come out from underneath your hands, scrape back to the main ball. Try to make it so it's rounded up as much as possible. Okay, what's the step I need to do next?
Put a hole in the middle.
Yeah, I need to find the hole in the middle. And I want to take my hands on either side, put my thumbs here in the middle of the clay, and I want to start to press straight down. I'm going to push down in the clay. Keep your thumbs together. Tyler, get over here. Turn the wheel off. You need to press down in the clay, 3/8 inch thick. How thick is that for the bottom? Does anybody remember what it is? Yeah, it's like a pencil turned down the side like this. Is what we're trying to make the clay here in the middle, right here in the very center of the open piece of clay. You guys can use a pencil, a sharp stick, something down into the middle. Check that depth in the middle. Is that the right thickness?
Sure, just about.
Yeah. So that's really close to 3/8 inch thick. I now need to take my sponge or my finger and work back and forth and get rid of that hole. So now I need to pull this out and up at a 45-degree angle because we're creating a bowl. The last time with the cylinder we pulled it straight over and made it flat and then went straight up. We're going to go up and down at an angle to create a bowl here. So we're going to go up and out at a 45-degree angle. The top edge, you need to make sure that you take your left hand and hold on to the clay for a second and push down around the top edge with either your finger or a sponge on the outside. This is going to keep the top edge from cracking if you've had the top edges cracking on you. I'm now going to go back down inside, left hand on the inside, right hand on the outside, pinch against the clay and go up and out at an angle. By doing this, it's going to thin the clay out and get the clay to go the direction we want it to go. The bowls that we're working on, they need to be 8 inches wide, 3 inches tall. This is probably really close already to being 3 inches tall. So it's almost 3 inches tall now, where it actually is 3 inches tall. Wow. Now I need to work on drawing the bowl out and making it bigger. So I'm going to go through it a couple more times, and I'm going to pull up and out at a 45-degree angle to make it wider. Okay, so right there, that's probably about 6 inches wide. So we need to keep making it go out wider. Right now, that is 6 3/4 inches wide. Guys, pay attention to what's going on here. People are throwing things away in the dumpster. We're going to go up and out again here. Each time I'm doing this, it's making it wider. The top rim gets a little uneven if I lightly take my hand, hold against the clay.
Stop playing. Sorry.
Actually, if he is messing around, he shouldn't be. So I'm not upset that you had to stop him from goofing around.
Too many games, man.
You're on games, bro. Stop.
Okay.
You should let me get that.
What, bowl?
Hmm?
Yeah, this is the size cereal bowl that we're trying to make.
I'd eat cereal at that.
I wouldn't.
So that is
Glaze on it, I would.
almost 8.
8 inches wide?
Yep, 8 inches wide, 3 inches tall. Most bowls. Because then they shrink. You want to shrink a 1/2 inch around when it dries out. Okay. So now I need to get the extra clay off down here on the bottom. So basically step number 5 was where I showed you the center depth. 6 is pulling up and out. 7 is basically we need to make sure that this is trimmed in. 8 would be checking the rim to make sure that this is level. You could switch those two. You could actually check the rim first and then trim the bottom end. I'm fine with that. So basically you're checking to make sure that this is level and you need to cut this clay off the bottom before we go on to the next step. So that's 7 and 8. So in order to do that, you need to sharpen pencil or stick. I want to go down right where the clay starts to curl out down here. I'm going to hold on to this like I'm going to write with it. Hold on to my wrist. Go right down the side and push down in the clay until I reach the bat. And now I need to take and put a little bit of water down there. So that's why I kept showing you guys this trick with taking your finger and putting the water down your finger. Now if I need to go all the way up underneath there, if I get it right above it, I can take and put the water in that channel. And now if I take the tool flat, I can get that clay ring off around the bottom. And the water that's in there is going to keep it from sticking. So I can take it right off. I'm going to get down around the very bottom and do what's called an undercut, basically a 45-degree cut down here around the bottom. And I now need to show you how to do step number 9. We need to remove this from the potter's wheel. I'm going to take a little bit of water and put it all the way around. And now I need to take the wire tool and make sure this is cleaned off. Be careful. Sometimes these wires tools start to get rough spots in them. They do. If you do what I just did, it'll cut your fingers. You might want to use a sponge or a towel to make sure that the clay is not stuck in a rough spot. Taking the water and purposely pushing it up around it. I want to take it and push it up underneath it. I want to do this a couple times until it starts to slide. See how it moved forward? Yep. So now I know that it's completely released from the potter's wheel. These tools are actually things called pot lifters. If there's a bunch of clay that's stuck on here, you need to make sure that these are cleaned off. You need to basically take them, get them wet, and these need to be wet and clean. So they don't have to be spotless. Yeah, they have to be wet. If they're not wet, all these little dry spots will cause the bowl to stick to them and it'll rip the bowl bottom out, and then you'll have to do it again. So that's why it's really important all along. I kept paying attention on your cylinders on if they had bottoms. For when we're making these cereal bowls, they absolutely have to have a bottom in them to be able to save them. So this is the last step. So that was 9, cutting it off. Step 10 now, I need to actually put my board here as close to my wheel as possible. You take a piece of paper, put it on top of here so that it doesn't stick to the board later on. You're going to take the pot lifters again. We'll check to make sure they're wet one more time. We'll take it, put them flat against the top of the potter's wheel. We'll push them in to the point where they overlap on each other. And I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to slide it side to side, lift up, pick it up, put it on the board, set it down, push down, and pull out. Get it off the potter's wheel. Okay, then